Here's some of what's heading your way tonight on your News at 9.
The first COVID-19 mass vaccine clinic is being held in Joplin. I'm Zach Dodge with how it works and what it means for the community. Coming up.
Plus, we'll tell you about another post-COVID-19 side effect that some people are experiencing. And we'll have details on a police standoff last night in Mesa, Oklahoma. Chief Meteorologist Doug Hetty has your weather. Sports Director Jacob Leonard's on sports. I'm Mike Mahoney, and this is your KOAM News at 9 on Fox 14.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
Well, thanks so much for joining us this evening. Hundreds of area residents are vaccinated in Joplin. Today was the first mass vaccine clinic put on by the Missouri National Guard for Region D. KOAM Zach Dodge has details and what it means for the area.
A big day in Joplin as roughly 1,000 area residents received their first doses of COVID-19 vaccine. One of them was Joplin resident Kristen DeVore.
I feel great, no different than I did when I first got here.
She works at Children's Haven in Joplin and is excited to be one step closer to life getting back to normal.
It is something that is really important to me just because, I haven't been able to see my family, like my parents, like I hope I can in the near future.
The clinic this morning is being put on for the most part by the Missouri National Guard, and it's running like a well-oiled machine. This side road is where residents come in to get checked in the very back and fill out a medical questionnaire. This area is where residents will actually receive their vaccine. After that, they go to the very back observation area for 15 to 20 minutes before finally being released.
So far, so good.
It's the first clinic in Region D in Missouri organized by the National Guard and Joplin and Jasper County Health Departments, and the first mass clinic in Joplin. Health officials are relieved to see residents start to get vaccinated after waiting weeks for vaccine shipments.
The vaccine, it's hopefully the light at the end of the COVID tunnel.
To get a vaccine at the clinic, residents had to get an appointment. Others who just showed up were turned away. The health department hopes to announce some smaller scale vaccine clinics held by the city very soon, something that will happen once they receive their own doses.
I think the takeaway on this is that vaccine is coming. It gives a message of hope, basically, that we are moving to a point where hopefully we will be at the end of this sooner rather than, later.
In Joplin, Zach Dodge, KOAM News.
And Joplin officials say they will send residents alerts when the vaccine clinics are held by the city's health department. And we've got details on how to get that alert on our website, that is KOAMnewsnow.com. The Crawford County Commission met today to discuss vaccination efforts in Crawford County, Kansas. Health officials say so far they have vaccinated a little over 3,000 people in the county. They are currently receiving around 400 doses of vaccine a week, though that will increase to 600 next week. With the added supply, the county health department is trying to set up a drive-through vaccination locations. COVID-19 continues to evolve, and as time goes on, doctors continue to learn more about post-COVID symptoms. KOAM's Chris Warner takes a look.
Sharon Boatwright is an employee at Freeman, and she's also recovering from COVID.
I had the no taste, no smell. I still have I can't smell other than really strong smelling things. I'm getting a little bit of taste back, but there's a lot of things I still can't taste.
But there was another unexpected side effect she's been experiencing post-COVID.
When I comb my hair, I'm getting a lot of hair in the comb when you comb your hair through. And also I've noticed, even though I've combed the hair and put conditioner all in it, I have a lot of hair fall out.
Dr. Ahmed Badawi, a Freeman dermatologist, says what's happening is common in many situations.
So the phenomenon that's happening after COVID is called telogen effluvium. It's not specific or unique to COVID. It can happen after any major traumatic event, major stressful event like surgery, major illnesses. So we're seeing that happen as well with COVID.
Lisa Nelson is the Pink Door Boutique coordinator at Freeman, and she says they've noticed an uptick in wig business during the pandemic.
It was more around October, November. I think when COVID started in our area to really ramp up, is when we really started seeing more patients coming in.
Dr. Badawi says there is an expectation with the hair loss.
So it follows 3 months, happens 3 months after a stressful event, and usually takes up to a year sometimes for the person to feel that they're back to their baseline hair density.
In Joplin, Chris Warner, KOAM News.
KOAM reached out to 2 commercial wig providers as well as the Mercy Sisters Health Boutique at Mercy Hospital in Joplin. The 2 commercial providers say they both have seen an increase in demand for wigs associated with COVID-19. However, Mercy says that at this time they haven't noticed an increase. All right, it's time for a look at your first weather. Here is Chief Meteorologist Doug Heddy.
Hey, Mike. It turned out to be a pretty decent day for us today. Temperatures all the way up into the mid-50s. We had partly sunny skies during the morning hours, and then some clouds started to roll in during the afternoon. This is ahead of our next storm system, which is going to be rolling in for us tonight. Clouds have been thickening up all afternoon into the evening hours. Even a few showers starting to pop up on the radar. These are not reaching the ground. We got to wait to really saturate the atmosphere, but rain is increasing down to our south across Oklahoma and parts of Texas. All this is going to roll in a little bit later on tonight. I think mainly after midnight we'll start to see some light showers picking up and then really increase as 5, 6, 7 o'clock in the morning, and we could even pick up some heavy amounts of rain. So of course we're going to break this all down for you here in just a bit.
All right. We'll hear from Doug in a little bit. Thanks so much, Doug. A Miami, Oklahoma standoff ends with the arrest of 1 man. It happened just before 9 p.m. last night. Miami police responded to a report of shots fired on the 1100 block of I-Northwest. Police say a man shot at another person after a fight. The victim was not hit, but did have injuries consistent with a fist fight. Miami police say when they arrived, the suspect barricaded himself inside with a family member. Police say officers made numerous attempts to talk to him, but he refused to come out and surrender. Police were able to get the family member out of the house, and then they went into the home, arrested the suspect without incident. Police in Parsons, Kansas arrest a suspect in a hostage situation that lasted 23 hours. Officials say they received word that the suspect had locked himself and a child relative in a house and that the suspect was possibly armed. Authorities say they tried to negotiate with the suspect for 23 hours before forcing their way into the house, getting the child out and arresting the suspect for aggravated child endangerment, criminal restraint, criminal trespass, and contributing to a child's misconduct. The U.S. Department of Housing and Urban Development is awarding billions of dollars to states to support local homeless assistance programs. 41 programs in Kansas are being funded, receiving more than $8 million. Missouri got more than $39 million to fund 138 programs, and Oklahoma got more than $9 million for 56 programs. The Eastern Shawnee Tribe in Wyandotte, Oklahoma recently expanded their Early Childhood Learning Center. KOAM's Bronte Sorotsky spoke with the tribe's chief as well as a teacher to learn about their plans for the expansion.
Eastern Shawnee Tribe Early Childhood Learning Center was built 5 years ago and opened with 20 students. Flash forward to now, and that number has grown to 132.
And then we just shot up and we overgrew our center. So we knew we were going to need an expansion.
The tribe is celebrating the expansion and is expected to bring in new changes to the learning center. Now, they're getting an upgrade, which includes a new cafeteria, along with more storage space, and a new infant transition room.
We've noticed a big need for infants they're in the infant room, but we have 6-week-old babies, and then we have 12-month-old babies who are running, crawling all over them, and so we noticed the need for that transition room.
And it's not just the building they're expanding, it's also the age of the students who can attend.
This is the first room that we have for children who are 6 to 12. Everything else was designed for 6 weeks to 5, so we didn't have correct furniture, we didn't have facilities, we didn't have materials to begin with. So now we have a special space, special programs, special materials that we have been able to add with this.
The Learning Center has been open through the pandemic, and with this expansion, they are excited to serve even more of the community.
There have been many places that have just closed down, and that would have been the easy thing for us to do. But again, service is the word that we focus upon.
In Wyandotte, Bronte Sorotsky, KOAM News.
While the Learning Center is connected with the Eastern Shawnee Tribe, they say they're happy to be open to the public. It's now time for us to honor one of our many four-state heroes, and tonight we pay tribute to Harold Poiry of Seneca, Missouri. Harold served as a corporal in the U.S. Army and he fought in Korea. Thank you, sir, for your courage and your service. For more information on any of our 4 state heroes or to nominate your own, just log on to KOAMNewsNow.com. All right, Doug is next with a complete look at your full forecast, and later in the show, details on increased security measures around the Capitol following that January 6th assault. Stay tuned.
Well, it turned out to be a decent Friday for us today. We had sunny skies during the morning hours, clouds thicken during the afternoon, and looks like as we go through the overnight hours tonight, we'll start to get some showers, even some thunderstorms increasing across the region. Great shot, Indigo Sky Casino and Resort, parking lot on the full side. It's Friday night. Temperatures at least warmer than what we've seen over the past couple days. In fact, right now it's still 10 to 15 degrees warmer than it was this time last night, as most of us are sitting into the mid to upper 40s. 48 in Welch, 46 in Anderson, Lamar 46, Pittsburgh also at 46 degrees. South winds 15 to 25, and we're getting gusts higher than that. It's going to stay breezy tonight. It's going to stay breezy once again for us during the daytime hours tomorrow. But the clouds continue to thicken up, and you can even see a few light little showers starting to pop up. Most of this is not reaching the ground, but we'll start to get some showers working in here, especially after midnight, as our next storm system is getting organized. You can see the rain increasing down through Oklahoma and also parts of Texas, with the main wave now kicking out into parts of New Mexico, and it's going to zoom right on by over about the next 36 hours. Zooming in, look, the showers picking up right across central Oklahoma down through the panhandles of Oklahoma and Texas. We'll have some random showers over the next several hours, but the rain, the persistent rain, will really pick up late tonight. Let's go through times. A few random showers starting to pick up, and then the rain increases 4, 5, 6 o'clock in the morning. Heavy amounts of rain rolling through between about 8 a.m. and 10 a.m. Could even have a few mixed in little thunderstorms there, nothing strong or severe. Heaviest rain will start to work east once we get into the early afternoon hours as the dry slot kicks in, but we're still going to have some light showers lasting into the afternoon. They'll just be a little bit more scattered. 45 in the morning, 51 by noon, high temp at 55, and very windy once again for us tomorrow. Most of the showers work out of here tomorrow evening, and then the clouds just kind of hang out for us tomorrow night. We will get a little bit of sunshine as we head into Sunday afternoon, but temperatures will struggle to warm up as we'll only make it up right around 40 degrees. All right, rainfall amounts. I think the heaviest on the Kansas and the Oklahoma side, but still most of us should get 3/4 of an inch upwards to an inch of rain, so very wet system rolling through. As we go down the road, Monday and Tuesday actually look pretty good. Next storm system starts to get going late Wednesday into Thursday. It's going to be a strong cold front, but right now it looks like we could go rain, possibly over to snow, so we'll keep our eyes on that system as well as we work through the next several days. 55 tomorrow, rain, especially in the morning. Partly sunny and cooler, 40 on Sunday, 49 Monday, back to 57 on Tuesday, and then rain and snow chances again by Thursday.
All right, thanks as always, Doug Hetty. We will check back in just a little minute. When we return, we are taking a look at the debate to permanently beef up security at our nation's capital.
The increased security at the U.S. Capitol building and for members of Congress may be here to stay for a while. I'm Ray Bogan with a look at the new measures that are being suggested by the House Sergeant-at-Arms coming up.
Welcome back to your News at 9. Security remains high in Washington, D.C. following the riot caused by Trump supporters at the Capitol earlier this month. And now some lawmakers say they have fears about a new threat. Fox News' Ray Bogan has the latest.
U.S. Capitol police officers will be on patrol at D.C. area airports and Union Station to protect members of Congress in the wake of the January 6th riot. The acting House Sergeant-at-Arms is also requesting members notify law enforcement of their travel plans. Acting Capitol Police Chief Pittman stated Thursday, "I can unequivocally say that vast improvements to the physical security infrastructure must be made to include permanent fencing and the availability of ready backup forces in close proximity to the Capitol. But proposals to make troops and other security measures permanent are receiving bipartisan pushback."
The answer is not to turn the Capitol, the people's house, into a fortress or a permanent armed camp. The American people, once we get back to normal, and the pandemic is behind us, should be able to come visit their elected representatives.
House Speaker Nancy Pelosi says the enemy is within.
It means that we have members of Congress who want to bring guns on the floor and have threatened violence on other members of Congress.
The Capitol building and surrounding complex have been closed due to the virus, but are normally open to the public. Outside, thousands of people enjoy the fields and fountains every day. D.C. Mayor Muriel Bowser tweeted her opposition, quote, "We will not accept extra troops or permanent fencing as a long-term fixture in D.C." The investigation into the January 6th riot is ongoing. The FBI, the ATF are offering a $100,000 reward for information leading to the person who planted pipe bombs next to the Republican and Democratic Party headquarters. Ray Bogan, Fox News.
A small contingent of National Guard troops remaining in Washington got a nice surprise today when a dozen therapy dogs stopped by for a visit. The dogs are affiliated with the DC-based People Animals Love organization. The National Guard members mingled with the dogs and petted them in the lobby of the Hamilton Hotel. The dogs were positioned in various spots throughout the building, and they seemed more than happy to hang out with those soldiers. Still to come, President Biden says drastic action is required to save the U.S. economy, but some Republicans are balking at the price tag.
President Biden says he will pass another coronavirus relief bill. The question is, will Republicans be part of the negotiations? I'm Lauren Blanchard in Washington with where Republicans stand coming up.
And as Treasury Secretary say the time to act is now on a COVID-19 relief bill. But the massive price tag has Republicans worried it will set the nation back in the long run. Fox News' Lauren Blanchard has the story from Washington.
The cost of inaction is high, and it's growing every day.
President Biden, joined in the Oval Office by Treasury Secretary Janet Yellen, says the U.S. economy needs big action now from Congress.
We need to act now, and the benefits of acting now and acting big will far outweigh the costs in the long run.
The U.S. economy shrank by 3.5% in 2020, the worst level seen since the end of World War II. The Biden administration is pushing Congress to move quickly on a $1.9 trillion bill or negotiate something similar.
And economists agree that if there's not more help, many more people will lose their small businesses.
On his way to Walter Reed Medical to visit with patients, President Biden said he'd like to work with Republicans in Congress to pass a large bill and avoid passing one along party lines, but said Democrats would move forward with or without the other side of the aisle.
I support passing COVID relief with support from Republicans if we can get it, but the COVID relief has to pass. There's no ifs, ands, or buts.
What we don't want to see is a trillion-dollar bill, multi-trillion-dollar bill that is really just going to fund a lot of long-standing Democratic priorities.
And Republicans also say despite an inaugural message of unity, they feel the Biden administration is focused on appeasing the far left wing of their party.
Our leadership certainly is meeting with him, and I don't know that he is listening.
Congress and the Biden administration face a deadline in March to pass another relief bill. That's when things like additional unemployment assistance and a federal moratorium on evictions expire. In Washington, Lauren Blanchard, Fox News.
There are more signs the U.S. economy is struggling under the weight of the pandemic. U.S. consumer spending fell by 0.2% in December, making that the second straight month of decline. In November, consumer spending fell by 0.7%. Meanwhile, personal income, which fuels spending, rose a modest 0.6% after 2 months of declines. The report from the Commerce Department also showed signs of inflation rising last month. The data comes a day after the Commerce Department also released a report showing the U.S. economy shrank in 2020. It's the largest decline in 74 years. Still to come, it was a rough day for a mobile home park in Mesa, Arizona after a crane came tumbling down on 2 homes. Details are coming up in just 2 short minutes. Welcome back to your KOAM News at 9 on Fox 14. A small bomb exploded near the Israeli embassy in India. New Delhi police say the blast was caused by a very low-intensity device, and they also say that there were no injuries and little damage. According to New Delhi police, a preliminary investigation suggests, quote, a mischievous attempt to create a sensation. Israeli officials say they are treating the explosion as a suspected terrorist incident aimed at attacking the embassy. A crane crashes onto mobile homes in Mesa, Arizona. The crane toppled onto 2 homes, taking down power lines as it fell today. No one was injured in the crash, and the crane operator who was initially trapped was able to make it out of the crane safely. The accident also caused a fuel spill, which is reportedly under control. Officials on scene say the crane operator had been resetting electrical poles at the park when the crane tipped over. Well, don't go anywhere. We've got a lot more news headed your way, as well as another look at your weather with Chief Meteorologist Doug Hetty and your KOAM Sports Report with Sports Director Jacob Leonard. That's all headed your way right here on your KOAM News at 9 on Fox 14.
Another vaccine candidate releases trial data as new COVID-19 mutations continue to spread. I'm Jonathan Seri in Atlanta. I'll have details coming up.
As the fight against COVID-19 continues, new data from Johnson & Johnson's vaccine candidate was not as positive as expected. But President Biden says we are still on the right track. Fox News' Jonathan Seri has more from Atlanta.
In a few weeks, there could be a third vaccine approved for use against COVID-19. Johnson & Johnson announcing Friday their candidate is about 66% effective and they'll ask the FDA for emergency use authorization within the next week. The new vaccine only requires 1 shot, but it's not the game changer doctors were hoping for. Both the Pfizer and Moderna vaccines are significantly more effective. Still, the White House says it's a step in the right direction.
The president is encouraged by positive data on a potential new vaccine. He also knows that this is just new data, and now is the time for the FDA to do its job.
As vaccinations ramp up, public health officials continue tracking at least 3 new COVID strains, with more than 24 states now reporting cases. The vaccines appear to be effective against the variants so far, and officials say they'll work hard to keep it that way.
We will continue to see the evolution of mutants. So we will have to be nimble to be able to just adjust readily to make versions of the vaccine.
Meanwhile, the debate continues over reopening schools. Some public health officials now say it might not be possible to meet President Biden's goal of getting kids back to in-person learning within the next 100 days, despite new CDC guidelines on masking and social distancing they say will make classrooms safe.
We recognize many communities lack sufficient capacity to do all that it is needed.
President Biden says he won't push for school reopenings if his science and health advisors say it's not safe. In Atlanta, Jonathan Seri, Fox News.
A new study finds pregnant women with serious coronavirus symptoms are at greater risk of dying than non-pregnant women with the same symptoms. The study also found severe illness leads to more serious complications for pregnant women, but mild coronavirus in pregnant women did not mean a greater risk for complications. Authorities in Georgia are investigating a deadly liquid nitrogen leak at a poultry plant. 6 people were killed and a dozen more were hurt. Liquid nitrogen is used for refrigeration. When airborne, it is an odorless gas that can displace oxygen and cause a loss of consciousness. CBS News has learned members of the company's leadership knew there was a nitrogen leak on Wednesday but did not want to close the plant for a day to fix the problem. CBS reached out to the company but did not get a response. All right, Chief Meteorologist Doug Hetty is up next with another look at your weather. Plus, some local health experts say watching the Super Bowl and cheering for the Chiefs is actually good for your health.
Well, of course, we had some sunshine during the morning hours, and then the clouds really thickened up during the afternoon. It was windy, but temperatures great as we went into the mid-50s. For afternoon highs. Great shot of Indigo Sky Casino and Resort, of course, the parking lot full. It's Friday night, and it's dry right now, but we are going to start to get some rain in here a little bit later on tonight. Look at our 24-hour temperature change. This is from 9:30 last night. We're about 10 to 15 degrees warmer than what we were at this exact same time last night, and southerly winds kind of helping those temperatures out, kind of warming us up. So we're still sitting mainly into the mid-40s across the region. We have these south winds kicking in at about 15 to 25, gust a little bit higher than that. We're going to stay breezy tonight. We're going to stay breezy again as we go through the daytime hours tomorrow with our next storm system, which is really starting to move in right now. We've had the clouds increasing all day long throughout the daytime hours, and then some rain is starting to pick up on the radar. Now, a lot of this is not even reaching the ground, but as we go through the rest of the overnight hours, We'll start to get some rain in here, especially after midnight, and then really picking up late tonight into the morning hours. But you can see this storm system covers a lot of real estate out there. The main upper level low is now turning out through parts of New Mexico and really is going to zoom right on by over about the next 36 hours. Zooming in, look at the rain starting to really increase down through Oklahoma, western parts of Arkansas, and all the way down through the panhandles of Oklahoma and Texas. Let's go through time for us tonight. Clouds continue. We'll have on and off light showers really increasing late tonight. This is going to be the more persistent rain after about 3 o'clock in the morning. Showers, even a few thunderstorms for us in the morning. Nothing strong, nothing severe, just a few random little tiny thunder showers within this big batch of rain. As we go into the early afternoon hours, the heaviest rain will shift east. The dry slot kicks in, and then we'll kind of just go over to random showers for the rest of the day. Temperatures mainly into the mid-50s, so not that bad. 45 to start, 51 by noon, high temp of 55. But look at the south winds, 15 to 25. But we'll get gusts upwards of 30 miles per hour with this storm system. Most of the showers rotate out tomorrow evening, but we stick with the clouds through the overnight hours, and we actually cool down into the mid-30s, and we just don't warm up much on Sunday. We'll get some sunny skies in here by the afternoon, but temperatures only right around 40 degrees for highs on Sunday. Rainfall, I think most of us half an inch, maybe even 3/4 of an inch, some even upwards of an inch across portions of the 4-state area. So this is a very wet system that is going to be rolling in for us late tonight into tomorrow. Showers, a few thunderstorms in the morning, partly sunny Sunday, cooler. We go back to the 50s Tuesday and Wednesday, and then rain and snow chances on Thursday.
Ooh, my dog Peanut is not a fan of those thunderstorms. Hopefully he'll be passed out beforehand. Hopefully I will too. All right, thanks so much, Doug Hetty. Now, if you're a Chiefs fan, you are likely feeling pretty good right now with the team preparing for their second consecutive Super Bowl. KOAM's Kate Kelly shares how all that excitement can provide a much-needed boost to your mental health.
No matter where Elizabeth Standridge goes, she takes her team spirit with her.
It's actually more interesting over the last couple of years because I've been all over the country as a travel nurse, and every Sunday I would wear some sort of Chiefs something. So generally somewhere in the country I can find some person that says something about it.
Being a Chiefs fan here in Joplin means making easy connections with patients who share her love for football.
It always brings out something. So generally one of your patients will say something and it just starts to spark a conversation and you get a connection with somebody from it.
As a medical worker, Standridge admits the pandemic has caused a lot of suffering. Many people are struggling with their mental health as they deal with the side effects of isolation that can come from COVID-19.
We've seen a lot of compassion fatigue. We've seen just a lot of disconnect, especially with our elderly.
If you've been feeling down, it turns out the Super Bowl can be a real mood booster no matter who you're rooting for. Similar to exercise, cheering for your team can release endorphins, the hormones that make you happy.
I think it gives us something to look forward to, a little bit of normalcy that you can get together with your family, that you see every day, get to look forward to that good food, get to see those great commercials. And if you have somebody that is not with you every day, you can Skype them in or Zoom them in.
It just brings everybody together. So not everybody in the Joplin area can be a Chiefs fan, but it still gives us that rivalry, and we don't have to be there to experience it. It gives us a hope. So something to look forward to.
In Joplin, Kate Kelly, KOAM News.
Local health experts are anticipating another spike in COVID-19 cases from Super Bowl parties, so they ask people to try to celebrate safely. Wear a mask and social distance if you plan on partying with anyone outside your household. All right, stay tuned, sports fans, because we'll be right back with Sports Director Jacob Leonard and your KOAM News at 9 Sports Report.
The Girard Trojans hit the floor at home tonight against the CNC rival Colgan Panthers. On the girls' side, it's a matchup of two of the best in Southeast Kansas. Girard is 9-1 on an 8-game winning streak. Colgan is 8-2 overall. First quarter put back here by Lauren Torrance. Panthers up 2 early. Into the first, inbound pass to Gabby Riddell. She drains the 3 right at the buzzer. Game tied at 9. To the second quarter now, Caitlin Crossland with the breakaway and the foul. She had a game-high 19. Panthers up by 2. Third quarter now, Trojans trying to respond. Pass to Faith Poland in the corner. She knocks down the triple. Girard, though, still trailing by 1 into the third. Check out Emily Imhoff with the arching 3. Puts Colgan up 5. Panthers go on to snap Girard's winning streak. They get this one 56-44.
You know, Girard, they're good. They're deep. They're all big, strong, athletic girls, and Frontenac's a great team. So, we were battle tested, but it's really, really good, to come out of here, especially on the road with a win and get going because we have 3 games next week.
Missouri Southern sophomore Maddie Stokes makes a little history on Thursday night. Stokes posts 31 points, 21 rebounds, and 7 blocks in the Lions' overtime win against Rogers State. It's the first 30-point, 20-rebound game in program history.
It's pretty cool, and just hearing everybody, even from back home, reaching out to me and telling me good job, it's very humbling, and it makes me proud, to know where I came from. They still keep up with me. They text me all the time about games, wanting to come. At the time, I didn't realize it because I was just there to win the ball game, and so I was just out playing.
Independence Community College head football coach Kiyoshi Harris is moving on. Harris has accepted a job at Division I Boise State, where he will serve as the Director of Player Personnel and High School Relations. Harris spent 4 years at Independence Community College, 2 as an assistant, 2 as a head coach. In his first year as head coach in 2019, he led the Pirates to an 8-2 record and a Jayhawk Conference championship. And we visited with Harris this afternoon. You can check out more on the sports page at KOAMNewsNow.com. The Kansas City Chiefs are just 9 days away from playing in Super Bowl 55. The Chiefs face the Tampa Bay Buccaneers on February 7th, aiming for back-to-back titles. Like every Friday night during the football season, it's time now to hear from the voice of the Chiefs, Mitch Holthus, in this week's Minute with Mitch.
Pinch me. Am I dreaming? The Chiefs are going back to the Super Bowl? After 50 years between Super Bowl appearances, the Chiefs are doing it in back-to-back seasons. Now, this is my 27th year in the NFL, the 25th year of this Minute with Mitch feature. But there's never been a year like this one, not even close. COVID pressure, I call it. Every day, every coach, every player, every staff member, even the play-by-play announcer. The challenge of constant testing, being disciplined, treating everyone as if they're COVID positive. Plus, the sacrifice of not seeing family, skipping usual holiday get-togethers and real weird bye weeks. The challenge has been to stay focused on the 4 W's: washing your hands, wearing a mask, watching your distance, and winning a Super Bowl. On this Minute with Mitch. The Minute with Mitch is brought to you by Como Jewelry. Every day's game day, Como Jewelry, Pittsburgh, Joplin.
The Chiefs and Bucks will square off at 5:30 next Sunday night in Super Bowl 55 on our sister station, KOAM. And that's a look at sports. We're back with more news after this.
Welcome back. A new lawsuit claims there's no tuna in Subway's tuna sandwiches. 2 customers say they were tricked into buying something that lacked the ingredients they thought they were getting. In the complaint, they say their Subway's tuna is a mixture of various concoctions that have been blended together to imitate a tuna's appearance. A spokesperson for Subway denies the claims of the lawsuit. Today was another turbulent day on Wall Street. Digital trading platforms continue to deal with the fallout from restricting people from buying certain stocks. Fox News' Christina Partsinevelis has more.
The tug-of-war between Wall Street and retail investors continues, and it's got a lot of people worried, like Congress, the Treasury Secretary Janet Yellen, the NASDAQ, the New York Attorney General, all said they're watching these massive stock swings and trade restrictions.
As GameStop goes higher, as these other heavily shorted stocks go higher, as margin calls on those sides get extended, it puts pressure on the rest of the market.
Digital trading platforms like Robinhood stopped people from buying shares of some of these in-demand stocks. Today, Robinhood eased those restrictions, but users are furious.
They had to know this was coming. Nobody's that stupid to be like, I'm going to basically spit in the face of my entire client base and they'll be okay with it.
And catching the eyes of regulators, the SEC releasing a statement this morning as they continue to look into Robinhood's practices. They say, quote, the commission will closely review actions taken by regulated entities that may disadvantage investors or otherwise unduly inhibit their ability to trade certain securities. And it's not just the digital trading platforms. Social media is getting in on the action, banning the groups responsible for these stocks' massive rallies. Facebook tells us vaguely that the pages, quote, violated their community standards. Popular forum Discord have already attempted to do the exact same thing. It's another roller coaster day for these stocks, but for the smaller retail investors, it's more about the fight against corporate interest and Wall Street. In New York, Christina Parts-Nevelis, Fox News.
General Motors plans to be carbon neutral within the next 2 decades. The automaker made the announcement Thursday after President Biden signed a flurry of executive orders this week aimed at tackling climate change. GM says it will focus on offering zero-emission vehicles by 2035. The company's $27 billion plan is to transition to battery electric vehicles or other zero-emission technologies by sourcing renewable energy. As for its manufacturing plants, those will be powered by 100% renewable energy by 2030 in the U.S. and 2035 abroad. All right, we're not done yet here on your KOAM News at 9 on Fox 14. And when we return, we will show you the four-legged assistants the Miami Heat are using to help protect fans from COVID-19. That story and more are right around the corner. Check out these good dogs doing some very good work. The Miami Heat are stepping up their COVID-19 screenings and they are getting some four-legged help. The Heat held their first basketball game with ticket holders in attendance on Thursday at the American Airlines Arena. And along with typical COVID-19 protocol, the Heat are now using coronavirus sniffing canines to screen fans for the virus. Fans lined up in a specified screening area before the dogs passed each person sniffing them for COVID-19. If the dog continued to walk past a fan, they were clear to enter the arena. But if the dog sits, that signals the fan could have the virus, and instead of attending the game, they got a refund. All right, watch out, folks, and prepare for a cuteness overload. A zoo in Ohio is welcoming 2 adorable tiger cubs. The boy and girl were born between December 24th and December 25th at the Cleveland Metro Parks Zoo. According to the zoo, the 2 cubs are Amur tigers, which are an endangered species. These 2 are also the first of their kind to be born in 20 years in Cleveland. Zoo officials say there are only 400 to 500 Amur tigers left in the wild. Well, thanks as always for wrapping up your work week with us. We will leave you with video of a baby seal at a Latvian zoo. Oh, that's pretty cute. Stop by this weekend for more KOAM News at 9 on Fox 14. I'll be here and hope you pay us a visit. Have a great night, and as always, stay safe out there.